Hey, everybody, here we are, Sunday Night Live. Man, is it hot where you are? It is hot in here today. It is warm, not even warm. It's hot. It's just hot. So that's why we've got the cool water behind me. I thought it would help. It would make me feel cooler than it really is. Welcome, everybody. My name is Anita. I've been doing this over 10 years, this whole journey from low carb to keto to carnivore. There's some of my before pictures for you to point and laugh at if you like. But you know, it's like a whole new world in my life right now. So very happy about that. I've lost almost 150 pounds. I'm hoping to actually just say 150 pounds soon. It's creeping up there. I'm so close to that number, which is very cool. Really helped to do some sardine. I did 3 days of sardines and then 48 hours of water fast after that. I just didn't want to go that third day. I don't. It was I probably could have, but I didn't. I'll have enough opportunities to do some 72-hour fast coming up. So got a lot of announcements here, so I should get through those. A lot of housekeeping things. First, welcome Bonnie and Melissa. They are in the live chat down there, welcoming people and just maintaining order from all the chaos that can happen in a live chat. So that is good. Welcome to those two. We have a giveaway. So look what came back to me. They sent me some special bars. Look what we have. We've got the fajita and the honey heat carnivore bars. Well, I do. They sent me a package, so that was nice. And so I will be giving this away this evening. I'm going to put some other goodies in the box as well. So all you have to do is put "eat meat" in the comment. And you only have to do it once because the giveaway tool only counts it once. So don't, save your keystrokes for asking questions or whatever else you want to do, talking to your friends here in the chat. But all one word, "eat meat," and you will get 2 full-size carnivore bars plus some little surprise goodies from me because this is the box. It can hold a few extra things, and so I'm going to put a few extra things in it. So I'll remind you guys about that later as well. And I love carnivore bars. They are so good for traveling at this time of year. I do like to keep mine in the fridge. For those of you who have, who have given some to, I like to keep them in the fridge. I've also discovered that if you chop them up into little tiny bits and mix them up in your carnivore ice cream, it tastes like cookie dough ice cream, even the unsweetened, like even the ones that are like this one, the salted, nothing. There's nothing but beef tallow and salt. It's good in there too. It doesn't have to be one of the honey ones. So enough about that. What's the other one? Oh, so I finally have my own. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let me remove that. Oh, there it is. I finally have my own page for Meat Stock. They could have picked a better picture of me. I actually sent them a nicer picture, but there we are. I mean, it's there. So anybody who hasn't signed up for Meat Stock, if you use Ketogenic Woman, when you sign up, you will get you'll get $50 off. So go ahead and use that. That would be great. And I'm just happy to sort of be, part of the team and part of the whole background and the Meat Stock 2026 family. And I love Tennessee. I've been there twice now and really love it. I love it. So there we go. And what's the next announcement here? Oh, yes, this one's really exciting because, so when I first became a YouTuber, I had some merch back then. I had some aprons. There was this company that did custom aprons and mugs and things like that, t-shirts for YouTubers. And so I had that, and then they went out of business. And then, so I've had nothing for the last 2 years. Let me get that down. So now, here's some examples. We have Chef Teddy and Teddy the Taste Tester, and we have me. We have a caricature of me, and we also have Omega Monday and sardine fast and like sardine challenge type things. So there's going to be more coming. So I just love it. I've ordered some. I've ordered the tote. It comes in the tote comes in 3 different sizes. And when I went on to the T Public website, there will be a link. There's a link in the video notes, but there'll also be a link in the chat here. When I went to order my tote, there was an option to put the picture on both sides, and I thought, oh, that's probably going to cost an extra couple of dollars, but I want the picture on both sides. Well, it's the same. So for anyone who orders a tote, just it defaults to one-sided printing, but just order it on both sides and it's the same price. So I just thought I'd pass that on. I thought that was kind of cool. And I also ordered some fridge magnets and a couple other things. I can't remember, a t-shirt. So there's there's shorts, sweatshirts, t-shirts, magnets, mugs, phone case, like there's everything. So everything except aprons, but they said that they would think about, it's on their list to get aprons in. So I'm very happy about that. Okay, so I'm back now. What was the other thing? I think that might be it. So tonight, yeah, that's all I have on the list. It seemed like more when I first looked at it. Tonight we're going to talk about some carnivore myths. We did keto myths last week. The other thing I want to say was, I did start to tell you guys I did the 3 days of sardine challenge and then 2 days of water fasting. My blood glucose and ketones were really challenging during those 3 days of sardines. I was quite surprised. It took me 3 whole days to get up to like a 1 in morning ketones, which was crazy because I've had, really amazing results before. But then the very next day, going into the water fast, I had my last can of sardines on morning 4, which was hour 72. And suddenly things went insane after that with my ketones. So by the day following, I was up in the 3s and 4s, and I was getting the proper Dr. Boz ratios that I was looking for. And so I was happy about that. I was very happy about that. So I guess just doing a fast sometimes is an option, and it's a tool that is, I know I can pull out whenever I want to now. It is important to me to have that right chemistry, because I'm going in for the home stretch, and I need to get this right. And so there we are. That's what did it for me. Just in case anyone's out there, thinking I did 3 days of sardines and nothing happened. Well, just fast on the end of it and something will happen. So it certainly did for me. Okay, so let's talk about these carnivore myths. Now I know there's lots of them out there. These are the main ones that I normally hear about. That it is too expensive is probably, that one comes up all the time. I see it in Facebook groups. I see people posting, well, I've been thinking about starting carnivore, but it's so expensive. I can't afford, ribeye steaks and all this other stuff. Well, first of all, you don't need ribeye steaks to be successful on carnivore. And there are ways to even make that cheaper. You like hook up with the farmer, or buy the big primal cuts and cut your own steaks. You'd be amazed at how much less expensive that is. Watch for sales. But all those common things. I generally am going for the more budget meats. Like I really enjoy the chuck steaks, which here in Canada, they're blade steaks. I enjoy brisket, which is, a fraction of the price of a ribeye. I like that, I like it in a slow cooker. I like it cooked for hours in the oven, whatever way, it doesn't matter, low and slow, however you do it, pressure cooker. Just as long as you make it tender. I mean, on a smoker, obviously. I mean, a brisket is the whole reason I bought a smoker. So, you got to love those things. So, definitely the budget cuts are the things that I gravitate to. Plus, it's not only that, like it's not just about the price of meat. It is all the things that you're, as a carnivore, you're not buying. You're not buying. I mean, produce is expensive. I cannot believe how many times I would go to the back of the fridge. There'd be that, every couple of weeks when you want to fit more groceries into the fridge. First, you had to go to the back of the fridge and take out those big tubs of organic salads that had all gone weird and wilty, and throw those out to fit, to fit new things in. And so I can't tell you how many times, like how much produce actually just rotted in the back of my fridge. And then there's all the weird ingredients that I was buying when I was doing a lot of baking, expensive, exotic ingredients that I would use for one recipe. So that also added to the cost of groceries. When all you're buying is meat, dairy, and eggs, and if you keep the meat on the budget side, the chuck steaks, chuck roast, ground beef, this is very doable. This is so doable. I spend less money than I ever did on groceries. I mean, I go to three places in the grocery store. I go to the meat department. I go to the dairy, because the eggs are there. And by the way, eggs are not dairy. I've had people say eggs are dairy, but they're not. They do come from a chicken, nothing to do with the cow. So they're not dairy, but they're in the dairy department for whatever reason. So that, I'm sure that confuses people. So also in the dairy department is your butter. So I go to the meat department, the dairy department, and I go down the aisle that has canned fish. That's the only aisle in the store that I want to go down, because the other aisles are just things I don't buy. But I do buy the canned sardines. I look for sales, that kind of thing, or for any type of canned fish that I haven't seen before, or something. Always hoping there's something new, or something that I've missed, something exciting. Yeah. So I personally spend less money on carnivore. So tell me your experiences down there. And the other thing to think about is long term down the road, that those of us that are following proper human diet way of eating, whether that is keto, ketovore, carnivore, we're going to be spending so much less on. I mean, I have zero medications. I'm 67 years old. I don't have a single medication to my name. And I think that, some of you that have to pay full price for medications, or there we go. Yeah, Jason, thank you. Ribeyes are cheaper than medication. Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you think about the cost of medicine and all being in a nursing home, like those sorts of costs are astronomical. And, my plan is to save on those costs. Okay, so here's another myth on the sheet. Red meat causes heart disease by raising your LDL, because we all remember back from I guess it was in the 60s, where they did that big campaign that having high cholesterol was going to, give you heart disease, give you a heart attack. So, everybody needs to know what their HDL and their triglycerides are. I mean, if you have high LDL and all your other markers are also bad, yeah, you've got to work on that. You've got something to worry about. But if you have high LDL only and your blood pressure is good and your waist is less than 35 inches, they say for women. I can't remember what the number is for men. I'm sorry. Maybe somebody knows it. Your HDL is high, your triglycerides are low, those sorts of things, then your risk is minimal. We all have a risk. We don't know what's going to happen, but that whole thing has been debunked. Read is it Nina Teicholz, her book, The Big Fat Surprise. Daniel Trevor, his book, Unholy Trinity. There's others, but those two books in particular stand out to me for all the studies that they have showing that this is like bunk. It is total bunk. And, yeah. So we're going to go on to the next one. You're going to have nutritional deficiencies if you only eat meat. People want you to have all the, the rainbow, the plants, the fruits, all that stuff. And so animal foods contain most of the essential nutrients that you need, if not all. And if you're eating liver and seafood and eggs as well, you're getting all what you need. And I would look for, I'm just looking, Judy Cho's book, The Carnivore Cure. She's got all the information about every piece of meat and what it's got in it. There's charts in there and diagrams. That is an excellent book. And I think she did have another follow-up book after that too. Also an excellent book. So, there's, I've had, like, the only thing that I've been low in when I had my last blood work, I was low in vitamin B12, even though I eat so much meat. And also my vitamin D was low. So I am supplementing those two things right now to bring those up. But everything else was good. So I'm very happy about that. And then this one here is the one that gets me. This one here, I actually had someone call me one day, an acquaintance. I'm not going to name any names. You never know who's watching, right? You need carbs for your brain. Where are you getting, the glucose that you need for your brain? And also for fiber. So ketones are a really good fuel for your brain. And when we become fat adapted and we are burning ketones, we're in good shape there. And also there's this thing called gluconeogenesis. And so if you don't have enough ketones to run your brain, you have that working for you to turn some other things that you have, like some protein and that kind of thing that you're eating every day. Hopefully most days we're eating protein unless we're fasting, and that's being converted to whatever glucose you need. So we're good there. And fiber. So fiber is not an essential nutrient. Some people act like it's an essential nutrient. For those of us that have been around for a while, I never heard the word fiber until, when was it, in the 80s or the 90s? You started hearing about, you need fiber, you need this many grams of fiber. We never heard about, nobody talked about fiber. It's kind of, is it a coincidence that all of a sudden we needed fiber when all of a sudden there was all these processed foods to eat, all the packaged foods, the convenience foods, like all those types of foods came out? The reason that all of a sudden you needed to have fiber is because it was the only way to push that food that was sitting, fermenting in your system. That was how to push it out and get rid of it. I call it carbage, which rhymes with garbage, and that's what it really is. That's the only use for fiber at this point is to move things through your body, because they get stuck there otherwise. But if you're not eating it, if you're not eating all the garbage and the processed foods and all that kind of thing, things just work. I mean, I don't know about you guys, and maybe this is TMI, but I have a daily bowel movement. I do, and I don't eat any fiber. So hey, what's up with that? So those were my little points. I'm going to move that off. You can have that sheet if you want it. If you want to give it to somebody or share it or whatever. I'd like to hear what you guys have. So maybe some of you have been putting in the comments of what are some of the myths that you hear. Do you find carnivore to be too expensive? Do you feel you have some nutritional deficiencies on carnivore? I mean, like I don't know everything, and I know that sometimes people have certain issues. Here's another myth, that carnivore cures everything. It really doesn't. So I think people should stop saying that if you go on carnivore, everything you have is going to heal. You're never going to get a sunburn. You're never going to get cancer. You're never going to get sick. You're never, you know what I mean? Like I hear that a lot out there too. And I think that is not entirely true, because, we do get sick. From time to time. I mean, people on carnivore have developed cancer. But the thing is that I truly believe that they're in a better position, because if they've been doing carnivore or keto or proper human diet, doesn't, we're talking about carnivore tonight, but it's not, you don't have to be carnivore 100% to be healthy. Just proper human diet stuff we're talking here now. If you have been doing proper human diet stuff, like, and what does that mean? That means no carbs, like processed like no refined processed carbs. So no processed foods, or ultra processed foods, no sugars, no grains, no artificial this and that, no seed oils. It's single ingredient foods. And so, it doesn't, like, people are on different places of this proper human diet spectrum, everywhere from, vegetarian all the way to carnivore. And if you're eating single ingredient foods only, you've got your best chance of, fighting diseases, not getting all the if you're eating the standard American diet, you're getting the standard American diseases. So that's not what I'm talking about here. The type 2 diabetes and all the, the bloating that you get, IBS and Crohn's and all those things in your gut, the autoimmunes, those are caused by generally inflammation. I mean, that's at the root of all this. Standard American diet, it is linked to inflammation. It is at the heart of this. If you're eating what your grandparents used to eat, your great grandparents, I know mine used to eat, meat that they slaughtered on their farm, vegetables and fruits that they grew on their farm. That's what they had. That's what was on the table. They didn't have other stuff. Like, that was it. It was healthy. They had the bacon grease on the counter to cook all this stuff in. It was single ingredient foods, and they lived well into their 90s. They were not in nursing homes. They just died on the spot one day, and that's how I want to go. Just I just want to go on the spot in my garden and not be deteriorating over a long 10-year, 20-year period. Wandering around a nursing home, not knowing who I am and not knowing what the heck they're feeding me. I just don't want that. I don't want my kids to have to deal with that. And that's a big part of my why, because it was no picnic taking care of my mom, who did go through that. And so I'm going to go to questions. But first, I want to remind you guys about, here's our, I got some of the special carnivore bars sent to me, and I'm sharing them. So someone is going to get this tonight, plus a few extra goodies in the box. So put eat meat in the comments if you have not already done that. And we will have that draw in about half an hour. So we're almost at the halfway mark here. And I am going to go to some questions. Let me see here. Let's go over there. Hey, Brian, nice to see you here. The cost of carnivore, it just wasn't so. Our food bill dropped by a third. Yeah, right. So fantastic. I will, I 100% agree. 100% agree with you. I mean, I haven't done any, math on it, but I just know that I'm just coming home with, first of all, I never have to use a shopping cart because like I never buy that much stuff now. I know that what I'm going to buy is going to fit in a bag. And just, my grocery bill just seems so small now. When I look at it, even over a monthly period. So amazing. Martha, carnivore is hard on your liver. I've heard that too. I don't think that's the truth at all. I mean, I don't have anything here on the liver that I've looked into before the live stream. But honestly, I just, people will say, it's hard on your heart. It's hard on all your organs, your kidneys. That's a big one too. Don't eat meat because it's hard on your kidneys. Well, gee, spinach and almonds are hard on your kidneys. They contain all those oxalates, and then you've got that problem, getting kidney stones. And then they'll tell you, oh, to prevent kidney stones, don't eat meat. Like, make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense. So, no, I believe that is a myth. Here's another one. I'm hearing from a couple influencers that you cannot lose weight on high-fat carnivore, yet I know many who have. Yeah. So I hear that all the time, and I think the issue is it's not for not everybody, right? Some people, like for example, if someone has lipotoxicity, and I learned that from Jenny Midich's channel, I learned all, because her husband has lipotoxicity. It affects a small group of people out there, and she went all through that in her last video, and it does not affect many people. And she had a checklist. I downloaded the checklist and I compared her checklist to my last blood work, because she said, check this, check, like she had like quite a few things to check against. And I do not have lipotoxicity. So I am not one of those people that has to eat low-fat carnivore. There may be some that do. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about, lipotoxicity, or just in general. But in general, women in this age group, they do need more fat for their hormones. How much fat they need, though, is the question. Is it sticks of butter added onto your plate on top of the fat you're eating? No, it is not. I remember all the commotion and chaos when Elizabeth Bright said to eat a stick of butter every day. And what she meant was eat the equivalent of a stick of butter every day. So if you're already eating pork belly and ribeyes, you're already getting close to that stick of butter a day, and you do not have to add another stick of butter. And so this is where people kind of go wrong. They're just looking at headlines and not digging into what is behind it. How much fat is high-fat carnivore? What does that mean, on my plate? You don't just add sticks of butter and hope for the best. You don't, you have, if you're concerned about it and you're not getting the results you want, you have to track it and see, well, how much fat am I getting? Maybe I'm already a high-fat carnivore, and here I am adding sticks of butter. So it is a balancing act that everybody has to go through. There are no magic macros that fit every person out there. And so people have to know what their tolerance level is. Where does their protein and fat have to be in order to give them the best results? And so look at your TDEE. We always have pretty sure we always have a TDEE link in the video notes. Track your macros for a couple of weeks. And I'm talking to people who are not getting the results they want, and they just think they might add, well, I should add more fat because that's what I keep hearing, or I should reduce fat because that's what I keep hearing. Well, you don't know that yet. If you don't know, if you don't know how many grams of protein and fat you're eating now, then you don't know whether you're supposed to add or subtract. Like, you just don't, unless you track it for a couple of weeks without judgment, just to see where you are. And then you can tweak up or down depending on where you think the problem is. So that kind of drives me crazy as well, to hear these things in absolutes, like everybody needs to eat high-fat carnivore, everybody needs to eat a lower-fat carnivore. The truth is somewhere in the middle, depending on your situation. Tammy, my daughter-in-law said that she can't afford carnivore. I explained that it isn't true. In fact, my gas reward points have decreased a lot since I went to carnivore. Okay, interesting. Your gas rewards points. Okay, I'm sure there's a relationship there with your gas. Maybe less shopping. I don't know. But yeah, I have found that carnivore is more affordable than most people think. If you're going to restaurants all the time and buying the tomahawks and ribeyes and the picanha and all that, that can be pricey. But if you're doing your own shopping and your own cooking, and I tell you, carnivore is faster than a fast food meal. A fast food meal these days, I hear, can be $20 for a meal. Well, I can get a high-end steak for $20. So to me, that just seems insane. And there's a whole lot more nutrition in a $20 steak than there is in a $20 fast food meal, which people don't seem to think is unusual or weird. So do that comparison sometime. Hey, Jason, nice to see you here. You've been a member for 13 months. Well, that's something to celebrate, and we appreciate your presence here at every live. Thank you for being here. Okay, Tina, here's a myth. Keto is only for weight loss. Reality, keto also supports mental clarity, stabilized blood sugar, and reduced inflammation. That's 100% true, and that is true for carnivore and proper human diet. Most people, if they cut out the processed and refined carbs and the seed oils and all those other things, they are likely going to lose weight if they need to lose weight. They may have years of issues to heal at the same time, and sometimes our body decides to do it first, but they're going to get those benefits, that you like: mental clarity, blood sugar, and reduced inflammation. You have to reduce your inflammation before all of those underlying diseases start to heal. That can take a long time. But that, you'll get there eventually. And many people are learning that they, even if they don't have to lose weight, they're coming to this way of eating because they have heard about the healing part of it. And so thank you for bringing that up. Eat Meat, Lida, hello. Interesting product. Wow, woman, you have come a long way and it's beautiful. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lida. I appreciate that very much. And I can see by your thing there that you are also a fellow Canadian by your avatar. So welcome. I think you live in my province too, I seem to remember. Melina, do we have pasteurized eggs in Canada? I was watching that there's a toxin in raw eggs, but pasteurized eggs are safe. It should say on the carton whether they're pasteurized or not. And if they are not, then you can pasteurize your own. There's ways to do that. You can do it in a sous vide. I cannot remember the temperature you need to hit to pasteurize your eggs. But Yeah, I know that people are concerned about raw eggs, for various reasons, whether it's salmonella or avian flu, but read the carton, and I just can't remember if we like. I don't think we can automatically assume that all the eggs we buy are pasteurized. I think it has to say it to be pasteurized. So watch for that. Catherine, carnivore has kept my Hashimoto's in check and my thyroid numbers in a really good place. I've been carnivore 45 and a half years now, not going back to any other way. Do you mean 4.5 years, or is it really that long? It's amazing either way. And it's amazing that you have your Hashimoto's in check, and also, your thyroid. Like these are things, that happen the longer that people follow, whether it's keto, ketovore, carnivore. The longer that they are on this way of eating, they eventually, they drop medications. They at least lower medications and eventually drop medications, reduce inflammation. Speaking of inflammation, I wanted to tell you guys about my knee is getting better again. I was really struggling with it after the cruise, because on the cruise I overdid it with walking. I was, 20,000 plus steps a day. Was And some of it was sometimes in long, segments, rather than, because at home I break up my walking into segments, and so I'll have like 30 minutes on my feet and then do something else, 30 minutes walking, elliptical under my desk. Like, I sort of broke things up to ease the stress on my knee, because I have bone arthritis. And then on the cruise, I aggravated it so much that it's taken almost a month to heal. And so last week, when I did the 3 days of sardines, I didn't realize until a day or two later, and I had started into the water fasting. I was like, oh, I haven't been waking up at night with my knee throbbing, and I haven't been getting up in the morning with my knee throbbing. It's feeling better. So it's the power of food. I don't take any painkillers. I didn't take any medication for that. I ate freaking sardines, to do that. So yeah, you guys, like, food is medicine. TK Carnivore. Suddenly became hungry last week, but I am in TDEE range. Should I add a bit more or just wait it out? Well, if sometimes it can happen as a one-time thing. Maybe on that particular day you were stressed, or other things were happening, made you feel hungry. Maybe it was a food that, like when I eat chicken, I'm never satisfied. I want to eat 2 hours later again, things like that. Beef and lamb are the things that I know will satisfy me. But if you're in your TDEE range and you're finding you're hungry, then yeah, you're not eating enough. So just remember that the TDEE is a guideline. And I know a lady, you guys probably know her too, and I remember her sharing about this in somewhere. I think she shared about it on Instagram. I'm hoping she did. And I'm not divulging a secret or anything like that, but she said that she went up higher than her TDE number and started to lose weight. I think most of you know Karen Miles. So, Karen, if you're listening, I hope it was okay that I said that. But she decided to go up a little bit, and she said that she just went over her TDEE, and her weight started dropping again, and so she was really happy with that. So it's just a guideline, and I think that you can go over those try going over those calories, or maybe try fluctuating the fat up a little bit or the fat down a little bit, depending on where you're at. Sometimes the going up with the fat will provide the satiety that you need, so that would be another thing to try. A myth from Comadrius. Carnivore will send your uric acid maybe to the roof. Yeah, that's people are worried about gout and other things. I heard some really good videos from I want to say Dr. Goldcamp. I think that's his name, about uric acid levels. And I think that it's good to look at his videos about it, because he talks about all the different things that are in play there. And here again, we have this inflammation, and it's going to be, if you're doing a proper human diet, that is only going to help the situation. And sometimes people are just making assumptions based on what doctors studies have found with the general population who are eating all of the refined sugars and carbs and foods like that. So you got to take some of these things with a grain of salt. But for those of you who are concerned with uric acid, I think he's a naturopath, and his name is Dr. Goldcamp. If somebody knows the channel I'm talking about, please put it in the chat so that Bonnie or Melissa can throw it on the screen here, because I just want to get that right. But that's the doctor I'm thinking of, Dr. Goldcamp. Yeah, can't remember the channel name, but it's a good channel. Danny, we broke her on the boat. Oh no, we were all walking a lot, but I needed to pace myself better, and you were a good roommate, so do not worry. Mary, it's probable that inflammation was the reason. It wasn't until you fasted that your ketones got better. Yeah, the sardines needed help with the inflammation. You know what? I think you're bang on, Mary, and I know you do a lot with sardines and with trying to reduce your own inflammation. I know that you work really hard at this, so I'm trusting what you say here. I think that's true. Like, I was so surprised that 3 days of sardines did little to my numbers. And I was like, this has always worked in the past to get my ketones up, my blood glucose down, what's going on, and then that first day of fasting, it was like a switch was turned on. And so many good things happen when we fast. And especially, if you, where's my fasting sheet? I have a fasting sheet. I keep this around to motivate myself. At the 24-hour mark of fasting, your intestinal stem cells are being created, vital for gut and digestion healing. Mitophagy begins. And then by the time you get to 30 hours, you've got mitophagy, and which is like autophagy for your brain. Your human growth hormone increases. If you're a woman, it's 1,300%. If you're a man, it's 2,000%. And that you're just at 30 hours. So, all as you go without food for, say, up to 48 hours, 72 hours, like it just gets better and better and better, and you heal more and more. And so some regular fasting is really good for so many things. If you've been struggling with something and you haven't tried that yet, it is worth trying. And it's worth mentioning too, because my biggest fear with fasting was that I was going to be hungry and I was going to feel deprived. Neither of those two things came true when I decided to finally try it. Neither of them came true. I didn't, like, there's something that happens, the first day. If you don't keep busy, you're thinking about food. When mealtime, your normal mealtime comes and there's no meal, you're kind of, thinking, oh, what am I doing? Like, is this going to work? The committee starts talking and, maybe trying to talk you out of it. But if you can just wait that through and get to that 24-hour mark, there's something magical that happens. just shuts off your hunger. I think it's the higher ketones. I think that's what it is. It just shuts off that hunger, and as long as you kind of keep busy and do things, which I always do anyways. I mean, I find that on fasting days I get so much more done because I'm very focused. I've got these great ketones going. My blood glucose is really good. It gets down into the 60s. I feel great. There's no hunger. It's all good. And if you can just keep going, just amazing things happen. And so I'm super excited that you said that, Mary, because I think that's what it is. Gadget Lily, you asked if carnivore is expensive. I find it's cheaper than what I used to spend. Actually, the dollars I save now, I use to buy myself flowers. I love having flowers more than snack and junk food. I love that. That is so sweet. I mean, people actually, saving money to give themselves a little luxury of some fresh flowers. You can also use the money for things like, towards your hobbies, or, anything like that. Maybe you get a high-end steak once a week or something, because you really do save money when all you're eating is meat, dairy, eggs, canned fish, like I do. Canned fish is a real deal, most of the time. So thank you for that. That I love that. I love that comment. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Here it is. Dr. Goldcamp is a naturopathic doctor. He will be publishing videos related to the ketogenic way of eating, as well as basic health guidelines. Yeah, he has a YouTube channel. And I've watched many of his YouTubes, including the ones on the uric acid, that people, the fear of uric acid buildup, that people think that eating meat causes gout and all that stuff. So yeah, go and find him, watch his stuff, and find out more about it, you guys. Susan, I'm printing that colorful sheet. Thanks, Anita. Oh, you're welcome. And if you go, we do have, I should have probably got that link as well. There is a kind of a freebie page on my website. If you go there, you can see all kinds of colorful sheets that we give away. And in today's video notes, for those that want it, there is also this, which is the August calendar. And this was a calendar I did for myself that showed which days I was going to sardine fast and which days I was going to water fast. And there it is. Thank you. Melissa has put in the link for the free resource library. There's all kinds of sheets in there you can download. And so, yeah, the August calendar shows, all the things I'm doing this month. And, there's been a couple of changes on the way. There always is. Last month, July, there was a whole 2 weeks that got all turned around because of various reasons. Life happens, unexpected visitors come, unexpected events happen. The cat gets sick, the dog gets sick, all these things go on. And so sometimes you have to shift days around. We're getting close. Here is a reminder to put in Eat Meat. And we are going to do the draw soon for these carnivore bars. So yeah, if life is, making you make changes, do not take that as a failure. I never take it as a failure. I just take it as an adjustment. Sometimes you have to adjust your schedule. And if I can't do a protein sparing day on the day I said I was going to do it, I move it to another day. Same with fat fast. I'm doing fat fasting every Wednesday now till the end of the month, and I'm going to try different things. I'm going to try staying below my TDEE. I'm going to try a day where there's no dairy in it. It's all savory. I'm going to do some different experimental things, and of course share those results with you guys so that you can see how it affects me. Whether it affects you that way or not, we don't know, right? I'm just saying that I like to experiment with things to see what happens to me when I do that. And then I know going forward in September, if I'm going to do a fat fast day, I'm going to do the one that has no dairy if I got better results, or, or maybe I'll get to eat fat fast ice cream all day if I want. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't run enough experiments yet to know which one works best for me. So that's the August calendar. Okay, so I think we should probably wait a couple more minutes to do the draw. So I'm going to go over to the live chat. How do I get over there? Here we go. Okay. Oh, I see. I love it when I see a comment like this. Where was that? There we go. Haley, love sardines. I love them too, and I especially love them for my joints. TK Carnivore, do you have an exercise activity routine? I do. It's pretty loose in the summer, but bare minimum, is walking. I love walking. I now have a weighted vest, so I'm using it. I haven't used it on any of my longer walks. I use it for like short little walks, around, like say 15-minute walks in the neighborhood. It's only 6 pounds. I did buy a 10-pound vest, and I put it on and I went around the neighborhood. And as soon as I started going up the hill, boy, my knees hurt. And so I thought, okay, I better not do this, because, and yeah, it actually came after the cruise. And so I'm thinking I may try that again in a couple of weeks when I'm feeling, like my knees are really good. I don't want to push it now that they're just starting to feel better. But the 6-pound vest, I had no problem with it. It provides a good workout for me. I can tell it's harder for me to go up the hill than without the vest. And it's harder for me to like I can tell that it is causing a little bit of extra exertion, and that's what you want. You don't want it to kill you, but you want it to cause a little extra exertion. So that's my new thing. I do a health bounce on almost every morning. I do my lymphatic massage routine and some health bouncing, which is very soft bouncing, again, because of my knees, on the rebounder. And there is going to be another rebounder giveaway in the fall, you guys. Ken Sohn was so excited about how you guys all responded and entered, and the engagement, that they're going to do another one. So I just thought I'd let you guys know that that's coming. And then the walking. In the winter, it's going to look a little different, and I do want to get back. I've started picking up the light dumbbells because it's been a while, and so I'm not working a full routine yet, but I'm starting to do a few there. I want to get back to that. I feel like I do more structured exercise routines in the winter than I do in the summer, because the summer I'm always outside. I'm always going, working in the garden. I get so many steps, doing such a variety of things, very active. So, which is a different type of, it's harder for me to do all that and stay active in the winter. So that's where I have a more structured routine. So it'll change. But thank you. Thank you for that. Let me see here. I saw something else I wanted to. Oh, here we go. Hey, Jason, thank you for gifting a Ketogenic Woman membership. And it is Cat Diamond. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. Congratulations. Okay, and I'm going to go back here. I saw a comment where somebody found dumbbells at Dollarama. Oh, here it is. Melina, I found dumbbells at Dollarama. I've never seen that there. Do they have various sizes? Let us know in the comments. Lita, the TDEE is total daily energy expenditure, and we have a link so that you can calculate. Yeah, there it is. Stands for total daily energy expenditure that a person uses in a day. And there's a calculator, and it basically gives you your baseline. And so you can, then decide if you want to do a cut or not. But I always recommend before fussing too much about what that number says, track first for a week to 2 weeks, see where you naturally land with your, protein, fat, and calories, carbs, if you eat carbs, see where you naturally land. And then calculate the TDEE and compare it to that to see, where approximately should you be. And that way you have something to work with, rather than immediately, doing something with the TDEE, because there's so many reasons for that. We could do a whole live stream about that alone. And we only have a few minutes left. We need to do the draw now, actually. So we're going to do that draw right now. So eat meat, if you haven't put it in already, we got these bars up for grabs today. Okay, let's see what is going to happen here. Here we go. JY Metalwood. So JY Metalwood, please send me an email at ketogenicwoman@gmail.com with your full contact information so that I can mail this package off to you. Congratulations. So yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for all the people who entered, and appreciate it very much. And let me just see if there's any last minute questions before we end, because we are very close to the end here. And let's take a look here. We may have gotten them all. Life is Good says most eggs in the Montreal area are pasteurized. It's hard to find unpasteurized eggs. I kind of think that might be the case here as well. And but read the box and just make sure before you assume one way or the other whether yours is pasteurized or not. I think most of the grocery stores are going to be selling them pasteurized, I would think. So, okay. I think we're close enough to the hour. I really want to thank you guys for coming. And a lot of you come every week. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for supporting my channel and by coming, and thank you for participating, because it makes it so much fun for all of us with all the questions, and everybody learns from each other, which I love. I just love that. So thank you so much for being here, you guys. We'll see you next time, and see you guys in videos as well. So good night, everybody. Love you all.